Alright guys, welcome back to another video. This is Tech FTM, my name is Daniel. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about a 6 months later review, Google Stadia, with this piece included. See, now, first off, I want to talk about the controller. It's pretty comfortable in hand. It's very clicky, very responsive. It's kind of loud at night. It's kind of weird, but if you're playing late at night, someone's sleeping, or it's quiet in the house, you can hear it. It sounds pretty loud, and there's no lag from the controller when gaming, from the controller input specifically. There's lag in the game depending on your wireless connection, but from the controller specifically, there's no lag unless the server's lagging from the game itself. So, it's got all the buttons. Some of the buttons have become more useful as of late, especially the Google Assistant buttons, which we'll get into in a minute. Takes screenshots still, so that's good. It's kind of dirty. And Stadia button works well. That's really critical to the gameplay, so we'll go over that in a minute too. So yeah, like I said, comfortable, clicky, and not necessary to play Stadia. You can use any controller you want, Bluetooth, Xbox. Let me get that real quick. Right, so you can use an Xbox one, especially a Bluetooth one. You can use a Bluetooth connection to a phone or a computer. You could just use a regular keyboard and mouse if you wanted, if you were just playing on the computer. So that works out really great, and you don't really have to worry about that. I wanted to talk about game selection. So the game selection is always increasing. Let me pull up the game menu that I have. The game selection is always increasing, especially with Stadia Pro. It costs $10 a month. Works out really great. It almost feels like you're getting Stadia Pro for free by getting games free in a similar manner as Xbox games with gold. In general, works out really well. You get a lot of games free, a lot of good games free too. Like I got Assassin's Creed Odyssey here, but there's a lot of game options available. Let me pull it up real quick. It's a little slow. You got Kona, Strange Brigade. You got 23 games for free just for having the Stadia Pro. So that's just free games. I haven't had to pay any of those. Maybe Assassin's Creed Odyssey I think I bought, and it was on sale at the time too. So good titles. Destiny 2 just comes automatically free, so that's really cool. But yeah, you pick up a lot of games free, and that's just in a few months. There's new games announced every day, or like every week. It seems like another game's being announced. So that's really cool. Okay, so I know when Stadia came out, a lot of the features they announced weren't there in the system. Like it wasn't there yet. Like controller was really lacking. Didn't have all the functionality. Google Assistant button didn't work. You could only play on a Chromecast Ultra. Didn't have the phone. You had to have wired to the phone or a laptop. But since then, over the last few months, a lot's been added. The wireless functionality has been added. It's kind of a hassle to change. It's kind of weird. Haven't quite gotten the hang of it. But it involves inputting the code that comes up on the screen, like on a Chromecast Ultra, and trying to connect to the screen. You hold the button, it comes up. You get in your forward code, like A, B, left, right, whatever, and you start playing. And then when you try to go on a different screen, you close out that game and you open it on the other screen. Well, then you got to reconnect to that screen, to the new screen on your phone or on a tablet or on a computer. So you reconnect the controller there, and it kind of doesn't always work. It takes a couple tries maybe. It works fairly well. Once it connects, and it works great. But it's kind of weird. But what's really cool, like I said, a lot of the functionality that they did announce, not all of it has come back, but some of it has come back and has been announced and put through. There's still a few things, but like I said, the mic works. You can use the Google Assistant to start up a game with the mic on the back. It's a little hard to see, especially if it's so bright. It's like right there. But there's like a mic right there. You see the little hole. But like I said, you can start up a game or pull up a thing. The functionality with the YouTube video, how does this work? How do we play that? That's not there yet. That'd be really cool. It'd be like really kind of like game changing, especially if they announce it, matching with YouTube streamers that stream a lot on YouTube, similar to Twitch. But for right now, it's really cool. Like I said, Not all the features are there, but there's a lot more features there now than there were at the beginning, which makes it a lot better deal, especially because it's a lot cheaper than like a regular console, especially with the new ones now, you know, PS5, Xbox Series X, really cool systems, but you're going to be buying a new console. Or if you're trying to play on a computer, you know, it's not, you don't need a high-end PC, and that's kind of the selling point, right, of Stadia. You don't need the high-end PC. Brings us into ways to play. So there's a couple ways to play. There's the Stadia app. I'll pull it up real quick, just right here. Stadia app. It pulls up all your thing. You got the store, you got home, you got explore, and you kind of get different games, announcements, stuff like that. The store, obviously, you get your different games. You know, the expansions, they come free too most of the time, especially if you own the game. That's really cool. A lot of pro games, stuff like that. You know, games for sale, new releases. There's always something cool to check out here. And then, you know, from Bethesda, they got different companies set up. Bethesda's a big investment right now, so that's really cool. But yeah, works best in the app. When you're playing on the phone, though, it works best with Google's own claw accessory. It connects to the controller. It just does, right? Like, I mean, you put it on, it's not that hard, you know, it's fairly functional. Slide it on, it's made to go over some of the buttons and stuff. You know, it holds the phone right there. It's not, your phone's not in your way, it doesn't interfere with your hands, you're not looking at the controller when you're playing generally. And it allows access to all the buttons still. It's just the best way to play with the phone, especially if you have to wire it to the phone, which you shouldn't have to do anymore. Like I said, there's a wireless connection, but that, you know, also depends on how strong your wireless connection is. But if you wire it to your phone, it works out great. You can also play on a Google Chromecast Ultra only. Again, best way to play on the Ultra is to wire it. It plugs into the brick right here. But that's the best way to play it. It works out great. You know, when it first came out, that was the only way to play. Really, this is the Chromecast Ultra. You plug it in with the Founders Edition. Have to have it hardwired. And the wireless functionality control only worked with the Chromecast Ultra. You had to plug into your phone, plug into a computer, like I said. But it works great. You know, it works on the TV, comes up quickly. It runs, and why I suggest wired is most likely your TV may or may not be that close to the wireless connection. Plus, the wireless connection, again, like I said, it depends on how strong your wireless connection is. If it's not that strong, you might have laggy gameplay. It's not gonna stutter as in like screen, like, you know, graphics stuttering. It's just gonna kind of freeze up on itself as it's trying to load the whole game back, and then it'll have like a quick, you know, graphic like freeze out for like a few seconds when it does come back, and then it'll be fine. But until then, you know, you gotta kind of wait. Okay, so final few thoughts on Stadia. Like I said, it's gotten a lot better since its launch. There are a few features still, like I said, that feel kind of beta-ish, or they're not complete. It's not there, like the Google Assistant functionality. They promoted the idea of like, oh man, you can jump into a YouTube game with a streamer. Like, oh man, let's jump in, let's complete this level. Like, oh man, I'm stuck on this level. Hey YouTube, how do I complete this level? They show you a quick video, you go through, you play it, like, all right, cool. That was really cool. It's not here yet, which kind of sucks, but Google is known for always pushing software updates over and over. The game selection has increased dramatically. Like I said, there's a lot more games now. At the beginning, you really only had Destiny 2 and a couple others, but they've added a lot. I mean, Elder Scrolls Online, PUBG, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is a really fun game, especially like on the go. You just pick it up like, oh man. One thought I do wish that'd be really cool and would really help sell the system is adding some more, you know, multiplayer titles. There's a lot of indie games and a lot of free games and a lot of other games, a lot of story-driven games, which are really fun, don't get me wrong, but that community kind of selling point, I think, would help build popularity for the system, make it feel more personal, and like make like they're trying a little more, like they're invested in the system, right, in the program. So, you know, like COD would be really fun, or Battlefield would be really cool. Like I said, they got Elder Scrolls Online, they have Destiny 2, so they just bring something like Destiny 2 over, and just Destiny 2, I get, you know, it's kind of old already, it's a couple years old, still really popular, still a lot of people playing, but like a few more titles like that to really round out the ecosystem of games that they have, from not only story driven or not only indie games, but including some large scale multiplayer games, would really help round out the system as a whole. Like I said, you don't need to invest in Google's personal hardware to play it. So those are things to consider. Like I said, I think Google should really consider working with bigger name games, not exclusively, like they shouldn't only be putting out AAA titles, but just bringing to round out their ecosystem of games would be really helpful. All right, so you know, leave a comment down below if you're interested in anything. Hit that like button for me. It really helps out the channel, helps bring some more videos to you guys. Take it easy.